Live.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with my guest here from WDI, Pinwheel, and we're going to talk about the division going on from WDI. Sorry, I get all jittery and shit. How you doing, Pinwheel?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yes, we're here today so we can talk about this WDA and division that is caused.
Yeah. I mean, these interviews take some getting used to, but you're just getting better and better at it. I just want to say that before we get started. I get it.
I get really rough as fuck,
but yeah, I'm really excited to be here talking to you about this. I really hope that I can represent some of the dissenting voices that I've heard in the past couple weeks. I've spoken to a lot of women, and there's a lot of differing concerns. And I think they need to be listened to. I think there's been some good conversation, and then there's been a little bit of, BS kind of, if you will. Like, women have really real concerns and some really good questions that I think aren't being answered clearly. And that's really a shame because, we need to be communicating and we need to take criticism, we need to take critique and build from that as opposed to adding more divides within our movement. Hello, women.
In the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about growing this community and like building a real grassroots on the ground, community. But how can we do that if we're sacrificing our own and scaring women away from the whole damn thing?
Exactly. That's my huge concern because, as you know, we've been organizing these Let Women Speak. They're influenced by Let Women Speak, but we've been calling ours Free Speech for Women. We've been organizing these events, and I've been encouraging women to take lead in their states, in their areas, and gather other women with, with the same concerns that we have, and be their own leaders and really start their own movement where they're at, because that's what we need to do in the States. It's just too big. And I've worked really hard at that. And these things that happen really set us back. I've worked hard to bring women together and connect them. And then what we see is women distancing themselves when things like this happen. So we really have to take that in consideration. We have to be able to have conversation and listen to critique and grow and move forward. And what I keep seeing is kind of a breakdown of what we've started to build. And that really, that breaks my heart because obviously we all, love women and children, and we want to make this world a better place for them so we can all thrive and not end up in birthing pods and all that.
Yes, my guess is Pinwheel Art, in case you have not been on my channel for very long. You know, she's one of my close friends. She comes down to Miami, Florida, and does our events. She actually got me into this and has always been there for me. So
I love that. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so proud of all the women that have,
and I can't wait till she gets back into, our community on the ground.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm definitely getting back into that. I'm excited we could talk about that too. But I'll just comment on it real quick. I do have lots of plans in the works. I've been talking to lots of women, and we're going to build this movement. We are going to build this movement from the ground, and we're going to connect women, and we're going to meet you where you're at, and we're going to help you build in your, in your city, in your state, whatever kind of reach you have. We're going to come together. Like, I think that's the silver lining of all of this. The silver lining is I've found more women that are really interested in doing this work and organizing and doing speaking events and other things because of the divide that they've caused. I've seen more women come out and say, well, we want to do stuff, but not with, an organization that's going to not communicate, properly, not be transparent, blow us off when we voice our concerns, and various things like that.
Well, I think we have to have consistent messaging, and our message is protecting women, isn't it? I mean, to the core, isn't that what we're about?
Yes, that's a major concern that I've heard from women is just, the safeguarding. We talk about safeguarding all the time, safeguarding women and children, and that should reach out into everything we do. that should reach out into events, any activities, sport, whatever we're doing. We should be considering the safeguarding of women and children too, but in this case, women specifically.
Well, I like to show a video we have here.
Oh, great.
Let me see how it's. Keith here is talking about getting attacked. I got it on the screen.
And this is on.
You get your toes broken, but that's not going to show on camera. You're just going to get hurt for no good reason. And when they throw stuff at us and hit us in the head, it looks horrible on camera for them, you know. But if you get hurt in a way that nobody can see, you're going to be limping for 6 months, and it's not going to matter. So, we're trying to be more strategic about to absorb, and getting your feet hurt, your toes broken it's not going to mean anything to anyone.
Well, that means a lot to me. I mean, like, my toes get broken, I'm right?
Yeah, we don't want anything broken, right?
I definitely don't want women getting attacked on the head. I mean, that is a fatal wound, if not a concussion. These are not like little assets they're asking for.
Nope, they are asking you to put your life on the line, absolutely. And, like other women have said, it's, they're making these choices, they're grown women, so on and so forth. But there's a lot more to that, than just being a choice that you make. Like I said, I don't think that they had proper training. There wasn't proper organizing. It seems like it was all very brief from what I've been told and seen. As well as this. Sorry, go on.
I hear you get 1 hour training, but that's not even a training. It's basically to fight your instincts. And you just
when other people in the past, they like to build off of, talk about the civil rights a lot. And in the past, when people have done that, it's been very well organized. They've gotten lots of people, of course, they had criticism as well. That's to be expected, and that's perfectly fine. Yes, like one of the commenters said, are they informed properly? That's a concern. And I think the minimal time that they gave for this, they weren't. These nonviolent actions that people did, they were very, very well planned out. They took years, months, lots of training. They would act things out. They would, really get into what they were putting themselves into, like what they were risking. They would really get into it. And even then, I don't think it was clear until they got the brunt of the abuse that, they weren't expecting.
I don't think that's how they won, because I believe there was a civil war. So I'm not really a fan of the NWA at all. I will not defend it. I am totally against putting women on the line. If we want to sacrifice men, sacrifice the men.
Yeah. No, I'm not about sacrificing women at all. I think there's much better, much smarter ways, better organized, ways that we can go about this. You can criticize our speaking events, give us some constructive criticism. That's great. But I think that they've been pretty well planned. We haven't had violence at ours, but I think it might have to do with, what areas we're in. However, the ones that have had violence, the women have not done anything violent back. They've stood there and taken it. Women are not violent. Yeah. We're just not violent. And so to put it out there as if there's even a risk of us being violent is just insanity.
Well, I remember I got a whole blog post written about me and my violent group here in Florida.
Oh, yes.
International, Women's Day, where we were supposed to unite. And they actually would not have a conversation with me because I wanted to not sign away my rights. I was like, women here in Florida believe in gun rights. How are you going to tell my group, come into my state where we don't even have trans people, and tell us that we have to sign it away to do an event with you?
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that because like many of the women, I believe in what WDI is doing. I believe in the declaration. I believe in the platform and, the talks from women around the globe. I mean, it's global. It's amazing. It's really has the potential to be something powerful. But what we have right now, it's just, it's not working. It's dividing. And when I read that Substack about you all in Florida, I was incredibly disappointed because I've worked with you all and I know you're not violent. You're great.
I have never encouraged violence against women and never will.
No, you're great speakers. You get the community involved, and it's it's really amazing. And it's something special that they don't have. They don't have it. We've been organizing, and the women are really talented that have been organizing. And it just feels like a slap in the face, to act like because we haven't signed an NVDA, we're, in inviting violence somehow.
Well, this is the NWDA, and I'm trying to highlight this part of it where women are actually responsible if we have any damages due to their planning where they set us up, that we owe them expenses and we reimburse them. This is part of what you're signing when you're signing that contract, that you cannot sue them and they could actually collect damages from you. Why is that there? Is that a good faith, contract?
Well, in my experience, when women who have you sign contracts like this under the guise of sisterhood, it's not actual sisterhood. They are not concerned about you at all. They're concerned about themselves. And I've also learned that these things do not hold up in court. You can go talk to a lawyer and find out for sure, but the women and the lawyers that I've spoken to said that these things don't even hold up in court. So it's more of a threat. It's more of intimidation, because the women signing it may not be aware of that, that they wouldn't hold up in court.
No, I'm sure most of them don't.
And it's really underhanded.
What did I just sign?
Yep.
And there's also this part of the declaration, which is Article 8, is elimination of violence against women. It's in their own declaration. So how are you signing this and then going to be set up for violence? They're the ones.
It's hypocrisy. Complete hypocrisy.
So I know a lot of women that are, driving campaigns to have the women that signed up for this recall their signature. They don't know.
And that's really a shame, because like I said, it has so much potential to really unite us. But sadly, that's not what's happening in the USA.
What is happening in the USA?
Nobody knows. That's the problem, is this clique. It's this small group of women. When WDI, all these abbreviations are mixing up. WDI is so much more than just this group of women doing these NVDAs. You have all these volunteers. You have the lesbian caucus. You have the Black women's caucus. All these women that are working hard to get out what they think is important in this movement. And I feel like this is just kind of ruining that. It's putting a damper on it for a lot of women. Because I support all the women that are volunteers. I love them dearly, many of them. And I hate to see them having to, deal with the fallout. And not just the volunteers, but all of us. We've all had to deal with the fallout from this. It's really exhausted us this past few weeks, me and other women that I've been speaking to.
And what about
we should be taking women's energy like this?
Yeah. And what about when our leadership is actually having an agenda run by men in a feminist community?
Oh,
deep resistance. This is what they put out. They want the lights to go out. They want, society structures to be damaged. They want to use NWAs for their own purposes, and they have their secret groups. This is what they talk about. They have different levels and groups that they run and that don't know that they're on top. And I've heard a lot about the secrecy within, WID, and there's a lot of secrecy from what I hear, because nobody can tell me who's in charge, why are they in charge, did they get elected? Is UK in charge of everything and sending us on a suicide mission? Yep.
No, it doesn't seem that the UK is in charge of everything. I can't tell you much. Like I said, I've had a hard time, talking to lots of women. I've had a hard time figuring out how. Say that again?
I said, because they're running secret groups. The ones in the know that have control, and everybody else, it just signs away their whole autonomy and follows. I think they speak out against everybody else who isn't under their control, and they try to take over other groups, like in the Women's Speak Tour. This is clearly Posey Parker's event, right? But here they are advertising it as a non-violent direct action.
And which one was this for?
Leadership.
So it was just, they were just framing the whole tour as that.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
It's theirs to like,
That's
tell women
hilarious.
to just come
Oh
out.
wow. I don't know. It's it's a lot. There's a lot going on there. I hope we can work it out because it is a great organization to be an umbrella.
I believe the women have great intentions. I trust the women. I trust you.
Yeah. So, well, like I was saying, now I forget what we were talking about before and what was on the live. So I hope I'm not repeating myself. But, like I was saying, I've actually been talking to other women. I have some really great ideas. Other women have some really great ideas that I've been talking to, and we're going to try to create what we want to see. So if WDI, this leadership or whatever you want to call it, isn't doing it, then we're going to be our own leaders, which I've been encouraging anyways, because I think women need to take it into their own hands and their own, because we're so big. Each state, is its own like little country. So we have to.
It's hard to get women out there,
Yes, it is very hard. So we need to build those connections. We need to build trust. And this is not building trust in our community. We need to see each other face to face. Exactly. Fear. You have women who don't want to appear on Zooms anymore because they were doxxed by the Antifa.
I know people who went to this event or were asked to go to this event who no longer are going to be in this community because they've heard about the violence or they experienced it and they're just done with it.
Yeah, and that's really a shame.
They didn't know they were being set up.
But the declaration, is great. The wording, I completely 100% agree with. And, I think it's a great base for us to talk about all of this stuff that's going on. But, what the U.S. needs is it's, the women taking the lead in their area is what we really need.
That's our own declaration. Like, we could
we could write our own declaration.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to bring women together, kind of to fill that hole where WDI is kind of failing.
The human part, because you don't want to sound like a robot.
Because there's so many women who are really good at grassroots and making connections and building that community. And I hope to be able to bring a lot of us together.
I think we need to interact with the public instead of having them completely being forcefully into our situations where they're getting beat and attacked too. I've heard of witnesses who were not aware what was going on and they just happened to be there, and just because they're a woman, they got attacked too. Is that right to do to another woman?
No. Yeah, no, it's obviously it's putting the public in danger as well, which, we don't want to do any of that. Like that's just the opposite of what we're going for here.
Our support. I think having conversations is much more important. And showing that women can protect each other and can say these things out loud freely while we still have these rights.
Yes, absolutely. Conversations, getting to the public so they know what's going on, because they just see so much propaganda. It's just like everything that comes into your news feed is about how, we're the bigots and we're wrong and we're horrible and we're banning, trans people from sports. And it's all lies, as all you women know. So, we really have to build a strong movement here to get people to hear us.
Oh, thank you, Joey. That was in San Francisco.
What was in San Francisco?
I think of that image I was sharing a minute ago.
Oh, okay. And I also, they've turned women away who did sign their NVDA, but were participating in other events, right? So how is that building community? They've turned women away who they decided just weren't fit to talk for whatever reason.
I heard for the Mother's Day event, they've excluded some women that happen to be mothers. I mean,
yeah, I think that event had maybe one mother speaking, and
among all of them,
if you're not a mother, maybe gather the mothers to speak. Why does it have to be you?
Or if back up the mothers, but I mean, the mothers need to be there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's the I'm trying to not be too negative, but it very much feels more like a book tour that is about one individual and not about the women and the community and the movement at all.
And how did they become the face of the movement?
And we don't know. And everyone I've spoken to doesn't know how we got this this board. They don't know how these women got into those positions. And I think we need full transparency there. I don't think we've had that. And if, they constantly saying they're an above board organization. So why don't we know how you got there?
If they're above board, why are they talking about the library glass? And the library is giving us this story.
Oh, the stories keep changing. It's just
how it was not shattered. And they're giving us the story where it is. But there's no photos at all. So they did their whole event, which was for optics, for nothing really, because we didn't get any optics from it. If that is your strategy, wouldn't you make sure that it followed through? I mean, this is the opposite that did show, sorry. Smiling with bruises. I mean, not the optics I want to put out there. I don't know how that optics is any different than porn.
Yeah, I'm really glad you pointed that out, because so much of our media is already violence against women. All these movies, these superhero movies with women getting the shit beat out of them, as if that's like okay. But it's all feeding into these men's fetishes, all that violence that we see regularly.
I think it will only encourage the truths, because you're telling them, hey, here's some women that are volunteering to get hit by you. They love throwing pies at us and
well, that's my thing too. This seems very divisive in that. So you got women injured. You've scared women from doing events like this when they were already hesitant to begin with, some already very scared, so now they're going to be even more scared. And then you show that these men can get away with beating women, probably even killing women. Right. You're just showing that they can get away with it.
Their phones that they stolen and the abuse that they've taken. Not WDI. They're not fundraising to support the women afterwards. They're supporting them to train them into this, which I just think is called brainwashing. I mean,
yes, we definitely have to do something where it's more everybody's kind of a leader. Not everybody's a leader, but you know what I mean. Like we're taking that role and not depending on like a hero or a celebrity. Like we have a lot of celebrity worship here in the States, and I think we need to get away from that. Like I really think we need to be. We can connect as a nation. But then we need to take what we're learning from each other and take that to our states individually and be our own leaders. Like Kelly J did, she went in there and she started movements and she started speaking to people and she got her message out. What you did in Florida, you started your speaking events, and we've all encouraged each other to do these things. And that's what we need. Not this, oh, we're in charge, we're the head, we're the face of, we don't need that.
Would you walk women into that crowd of angry truths?
Oh, where's that at?
It was at the library.
Okay, that's the one they were going to speak at. Yeah. No, I mean, I personally would not. Absolutely not. We put a lot of effort into protecting the women at our events. I like you, I can't agree with this tactic. As we know it is a tactic, and we simply cannot agree with it for a multitude of reasons. One of the biggest ones, I think, is the safeguarding issue. If that's our goal, if that's one of the articles of the Declaration, then what
by definition, you have to protect the women.
Yeah, like this shouldn't be a part of the organization. There's
no reason why they couldn't do this with security. They did pay for security for the room afterwards, so they had to pay for the security. Why not at the event?
Mm-hmm.
How does this look any less violent if they had some security? Maybe they just wouldn't go crazy on beating the women, senseless. New York looked violent, even though they had barricades, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of violence with protection. Like we see it. It's everywhere, every day. There's no reason to make this a goal.
Yet we have not gained sympathy for men, because some men, where are the men coming to protect us? And why can't we sacrifice them? That's my part. If men are so good to save us, why aren't they here? Why don't we sacrifice them? Why must it be the mothers and the women that barely have a voice
Mm-hmm.
who are the true grassroots on the ground women going to sign away our rights and like give up everything for this movement?
Mm-hmm.
Does that not sound like a cult to me, to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen other groups where these same kind of things have happened, where contracts have been asked to be signed for their protection.
Well, I have to sign it in blood. I mean,
where they, yeah, where they, excommunicate you or
yes.
whatever, delete you off all their social media, block you, and shun you or whatever. Not that you
Now
care
let
at
me
that
go to their
point,
events. I mean, I've heard stories. I'm sure not invited. In fact, I tried to get invited, and they said I had to sign the declaration. I was like, "Fuck you." I mean, I heard other people could go, but they didn't go in to the whole event. And I'm like, why didn't I get to go? Like,
yeah,
I have to
no,
sign
that was absolutely ridiculous. I've seen some very unprofessional behavior that shouldn't be coming from anybody who's on the board of anything. So what they did to you women in Florida was just shameful. Honestly, that's where I first saw it and started really recognizing that they were kind of trying to usurp our movement, our free speech for women, right? I know we built that kind of off of other women starting to speak out. Like Jay Thomas was speaking out for a long time. Joy and other women were already going around doing speaking events. And I feel like they tried to take that as if they could do it well, and they're just not doing it well. They need to stick to the legalities and leave the grassroots organizing, I think, to women.
I agree with that.
Let
lawyers and let the women, the brave women that come out, let them do their thing. Let them have their speeches. I would feel really crappy if I wrote a big old speech and I wanted it to be, heard in the public, and all of a sudden, no, I know you're taking care of your kids, but if I was just set up to have violence, I'd be sacrificed, and then no one would hear my speech. What's the point of that? Well, thank you everybody in the live for coming out. We're going to be running until like probably another 20, 30 minutes, maybe, if you guys want to stay with me. But Pinwheel right now is taking care of her little girl.
Yeah, I just had to grab the baby, but
feminism.
Yeah, that's feminism, right? You got the mothers and all the women with all our multitasking. So this is what we do.
Yeah, that's my statement of how Greenpeace resistance wants to sacrifice, us women, so that crops can grow, And I don't think if you're in charge of something else, your loyalties to another organization that really wants the destruction of the humanity to, save the planet, you should not be a leader in our movement. That should disqualify you completely.
I agree, because I think part of feminism is about saving humanity, not destroying it. Like, what are we fighting for if we want to just end humanity? What's the point? We might as well just off ourselves, right?
Because we go back to the Eden days, women are not going to have rights. I'm sorry. It's modern technology that gave women our opportunities.
Yeah. What is this? The words here. You might be in death court. Did you write this?
Yes, I did. There's always my little sayings. Sorry. Let me take this.
Intention of getting beat. Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and Deep Green Resistance, I don't know too much about them, but what I've heard sounds very concerning, and it's definitely not my movement that I want to be part of. I'm not into, getting women killed at all, not even a little bit.
Not even a little. I don't even think that should be sacrificed, ever.
No.
I think women are trained to sacrifice. I think that is their appeal.
Yes.
And something that we really need to break out of women to actually win this movement, because that's how we got truths. That's how we're getting transhumanism. This is how we're getting into all these crazy men ideas that they throw at us, because we're supposed to sacrifice. And I just think it's time to teach women to say no. Yeah,
this is nothing new. We need to come up with, like Tanya here is saying, much more creative ideas. There's much better ways that we could draw attention. I've been brainstorming in my head, how could we do this and not get, nearly killed or killed, and, be creative about it. Really gather women, like take time to organize. Sorry, say that again.
No, I said showing that women can speak up is the most powerful thing. That gives you permission. Like, we are in a free speech movement. That's what we need.
mean, and our events have been very powerful. You know, we just, you know, we actually have video footage. We put them out there. They've been seen internationally. You know, I talked to the women in the UK and they've complimented us. You know, we go to the WDI feminist question time, and all those women are just like, they love what we're doing here, you know.
I want to participate.
And these are the women that are doing the grassroots stuff, and they should have helped us build that instead of destroying it. They should be helping us build our free speech for women instead of doing something that's going to turn women away from what we're trying to build, because that's what we're doing. Even though our events aren't NVDA, you don't have to sign anything. That's going to be what happens. That's going to be a result of their events, that more women are going to be scared to come to our events that we've been organizing around the country.
I mean, it only takes a few examples of women getting beat up, and for the other women to be like, I'm not going to show up. I don't really think it's safe or a good idea. Which is
a lot of women pulled out.
Show up.
I know there's a lot of women that pulled out that also got doxxed, even though they didn't go to the event. And we really need to think about this stuff. Like you have to be connected and building relationships to be able to keep infiltrators out. Okay. The women that I know, I've been talking to for years now. We built very close relationships. We trust each other. We talk almost daily. You know, like we're very tight.
Who do you think the mole is?
Who do I think the mole is?
Who do you think is the mole?
Well, we have a few suspicions, but I'm not going to put any names out or anything because I don't know.
Nobody knows officially, but I think it's an inside job completely. I mean, I think it's only for their optics that, hey, Greenpeace Resistance could be the guys on the other side, for all you know. They're masked up. They're anonymous. They show up. How do we know?
How do we know? We don't. We don't know. We don't know. And if it is not an inside job, then they absolutely need to tell the women. It is crucial to our movement that they tell the women, because we're organizing and we need to know if there's an infiltrator, you know, if there's someone trying to get in that's really, you know, tricky and could actually get past us.
And how do you not screen for this? How do you not keep information from that group if you don't know them? If you're like so organized and so transparent and you're in charge, wouldn't you at least know a little bit background information about the women in your Zoom? I'm not saying my group is perfect or anything, but I don't think there's any more among us.
Yeah, none of us are perfect, you know, but what we do have is we've built relationships that these women don't seem to care to build with other women in the movement. But we've made connections. We've had our bumps and we've made our mistakes, and we take our critiques and we do it better next time. They're not taking the critiques. They're going to continue on with this NVDA stuff. They're pretending to listen to us because lawyers are very good at pretending to listen to people.
It's not
no offense.
What?
I said lawyers are very good at pretending to listen to people. No offense to any lawyers out there that are, you know, good people. I'm just saying it is what they, you know, what I've seen in the questioning. It's a lot of, oh, that's a good question, we'll think about it, or you know, we don't agree with that, or, you know, whatever. It's just a lot of questions aren't being answered that I think are really important. And, you know, since this is a group that has a lot of women, a lot of signatories, and a lot of volunteers, they need to be answering to us, because it's not about them.
It's our names and our lives on the line at the end of the day.
Exactly.
We know that there's violent men out there looking for us. I don't want to give them my address.
Yes.
Or where I'm staying at, the Airbnb, you know, like information. You got to make sure you cover your asses. That's just not acceptable at all.
Hey, Lady Studio. Haven't seen her in a minute. I haven't been on YouTube too much in the chat.
I can't wait to have everybody on my stream here, because like half everybody.
This is great. I'm so glad you're doing a channel.
I'll see you later.
This is great. I love it. I love what you're building here. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to see women feel encouraged and take it and go with it, like you have, Via. Like you have just taken it. You've done your thing in Florida. You've gathered more women. You've started a YouTube channel. You're doing fabulous things, and that's what I want to encourage women to do.
Well, I want everyone to speak up to me if they can. Can't talk to anybody else because I'm the one channel that's talking about this conversation. Everybody else has been radio silence on their own channel, even though I know for a fact that Jay Thomas is against this, and trying to revolt. But
yes, please check out her Twitter. She's saying great things on her Twitter. She's pointing out some really important issues.
But we need to put we have to put it out there for women to know not to sign up with this because they're putting themselves in danger. And there's alternatives.
Yeah, and I really want to make that clear to women. Like, you don't have to do it this way. Like, come join us. Come join, Free Speech for Women. We'll help you get things off the ground. We'll help you find other women in your area. Come join us. We're not going to put your life at risk. We're going to make sure we have protection at our events. We're going to liaison with the police or get security, whatever we need to do, however your area is, depending on, the danger level. And we're going to do it right. We're going to build community. So, you don't have to go. They're not the only option. If we want
to get 50 states on board, we're going to need to show women that we can do this. And we do it by not scaring off the women, Call me crazy.
Exactly. Yep. We're not going to get anywhere if we're pushing women out and dividing, an already huge nation. I'm trying to read some of the chat too at the same time.
Oh, I know.
It's really hard. This is distracting.
I don't know what volunteers there are. How many would you say do you see in the regular chats?
Oh, geez. Volunteers? It's hard to say how many volunteers there are because I'm not even sure who's considered a volunteer because I know past volunteers too that might still be on the volunteer list. So I don't know who's actually still a volunteer and who's a past volunteer.
And who's out there on the ground because it's great if everyone wants to do the everybody supports it, but they're not putting their lives on the line. So
yeah,
they're actually encouraging other women to do it.
Well, and I also know some women that feel very betrayed, who went there and trusted these women to protect them, to train them, to give them a good action, a good option for speaking up. And they feel betrayed now because they realize that it wasn't about protecting the women. It wasn't about having their speeches heard. It was about this. It was about, getting beat. Yeah.
I think she's the head of Wolf from last I remember, but I heard something that she signed off or something. But also I've heard that she reserved the library and it wasn't WDI. It's so confusing, They say there's transparency, but who booked it?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. You have people leading this that aren't even part of WDI. She's not on the board.
Working for other agendas like deeper.
Yeah. So it's not very transparent. You're right. There needs to be more transparency.
I want to know what the agenda is, and I want it to be consistent. If your message is we're against violence and we're doing a speech against violence,
yeah.
I think that's a non-brainer. I'm against, women on the other side cutting off their breasts and joining a cult that love bombs them, to make them feel good. And then they're calling themselves men. But if we call ourselves feminists and we're willing to give up our lives, is it better because they signed a little form? I'm no, I don't think so. I think we're teaching women that it's okay to sign away anything, your life, your breast, whatever. So long as you find a little community that will love bomb you.
Do not sign.
Heroes somehow.
On the dirt road.
Doing it, yeah, exactly. Make it make sense. If I am saying I'm against violence, And it's for protection, women, I'm gonna back it up, like protecting it with my life. Hey, say hello.
Little baby, sorry. Yeah. It just makes us look silly. It makes us look like hypocrites. It makes us look very unorganized.
And it has been
I'm just not seeing a lot of positive here, you know. Like I said, I think the silver lining is that it's helped me recognize where women are feeling disconnected and not feeling like part of, you know, the movement or the WDI or whatever. It's made me realize that there's lots of women out there that are looking for a space to build community that WDI should have been providing but is not. So I'm going to find those women and we're going to connect and we're going to build this movement. Me and you, BF, we're going to build this movement.
American takeover.
Yeah. And all the women, I just want women to understand that they can do it. You know, I did these events when I first started. I had no money. I paid for like a microphone.
Book. You should write a book. You should write a book.
Oh, well, I've been meaning to do like a supply and how I did it, because I bought like a mic for 20 and a megaphone. So it was like maybe $40 altogether, dragged some stuff out of my garage, made some signs, took my little wagon and did a speaking event.
Grassroots.
Yeah, like, I mean, you don't need lots of things. You don't need lots of training. We have lots of women who are so knowledgeable in so many different things. If you're going to do video, we have women who can talk to you about video and sound. If you're going to make artwork, we can talk to you about women doing that. If you're going to, or women can talk to you about doing that. If you're going to do lobbying, we have women who are good at that. We have everything. We have women who have done the work. We have women with so much knowledge, and we're going to take that and we're going to build the real women's movement. That's what we're going to do, right, BF? Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah, we have to represent the common woman. And the common woman just wants, well, I want her to succeed. I want the common woman to get her voice out there, to be heard, to get her rights back. This is what I'm fighting for.
Yes, we're going to get our voices heard. Yes, Poonam, or, well, sorry, that's not your yes, not in your head. That's great. I love seeing it. And please, if you are doing anything in your area, please send me any promotional materials, any visuals you have that need to be shared, any, you know, anything you need, send it to me and I will get the word out about your event. I will guide women to you. Whatever I can do to help, I will do it. So please feel free to reach out to me. You know, I'm Pinwheel Art all over the place on Twitter.
You do some amazing stickers.
Yeah, so I should be pretty easy to find. You'll know me by my turfy and pregnancy birth posts. So if you see that mix, that's me.
We don't need idols in this movement. We just need women to talk. And our voices to matter, our lives to matter.
Yeah, we don't need hero worshiping. We don't need that. We don't need the hero worship. We need to take it, you know, into our own hands. We're powerful. We're powerful. Women are so powerful, you know, and that's what we need to show too.
And that we can have each other's backs and we can look out for each other. I mean, it's very important. Yes,
and I've really felt that. I've really felt that, you know, the most powerful sisterhood I've felt is with the TERFs, okay? Because I know not everybody likes to be called a TERF, but the feminists that I've met in this movement,
we know who a woman is.
they've just been the best. Like it's real sisterhood. Like when I went down to Florida and you and Jade were just mothering me, and I'm a mother, so I don't get mothered a lot, you know.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
It was just the sweetest thing. And then I've had women come here for me for postpartum to help me out. And I mean, just amazing women, so powerful, so smart, so creative. And gosh, I know we can do it. I know we can do it. And I know we can do it well, because I've been in lots of women's spaces, and the things that come out of there, the power that you feel, the connectedness, the joy, like women's spaces are special. That's why they want to take them from us, because we are powerful and we are creative and we create.
We're fighting up a male violence. You know, let's just give ourselves some space.
Yeah.
In our own damn movement, you know?
Yeah. Where are you trying to go?
Make it about us and what we have to say.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I want to see a lot more of too, you know, just centering women. Like a lot of, you know, we get so tired of talking about the gender stuff, and
Oh
You know,
yeah.
let's talk about women like that
All right.
Jubilee that they had that was lesbians, but then the whole conversation went to
That's next week.
okay, so you'll talk about that next week. But the whole conversation like went to trans, and I was just like, this is so sad.
That's what they were selected for. They are those women that got famous because of trans. Those are not actual representatives of the lesbian community. Please do not believe they are representing lesbians. First of all, half of them are bisexual that will fuck trans. That tells you everything.
Yeah,
and the other half won't even say that they know what a woman is. How can you be a lesbian if you don't even know what a woman is?
Exactly.
I'm sure
oh man, it breaks my heart to see lesbians captured.
Yeah.
And I see Jen Thomas in the chat, and she is at Rev Fem Street, right? ST Beat, because you need to go check out her post. She's been just saying it all, and she's speaking truth. And I am 100% behind her. And I hope they start to listen. If not, you know, it doesn't matter. You know what? They don't even have to listen because we're going to do this.
If their leadership does not represent our values, which is protecting women, then I think we need to dump them.
Yep.
They don't sacrifice their own women this way.
Nope.
In the UK.
Nope.
So why are we the ones told, hey, go ahead, do it for the cause. Take one to the head.
Yep, we can build it. We can build what we want to see. And that's what I want women to realize. Just like Jay Thomas said, we can build something new. Absolutely. You know, I had a lot of faith in this organization and what they stood for. And if it's not working, we'll create something that is.
Yep. I don't think they're right for trying to take over the whole movement and take over other teams and tell women what to do. Period. I don't think anyone needs to be signing their contracts.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to take over. I mean, I think the women are going to realize they don't want to sign that contract, that it's not binding, that it's just intimidation, really, is what it is. So hopefully, you know, this will just bring more women around that want to.
I mean, it is transhumanism to sign away your human rights, and your first right as a human being is self-protection. I'm sorry, that is the first instinct you have. You can't even control that.
Oh, you know? Yes, that's so much of our lives is just training and manipulating and you know, scaring our intuition out of us.
So the that's how you
a woman's org, the fact that a woman's org is furthering that is unacceptable. I don't believe
we sign anything away. I think we need all our rights back and our humanity.
We're not trying to sign more away. Exactly. Oh man, gotta go get some craft beer. Okay.
I don't want to listen, obey. You know, like that's against what this whole movement's about. We need to empower women. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. I will be going out to my golf night very soon, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. And thank you, Pinwheel, for being my guest.
Yeah, I'm so glad I could be here, and I hope I represented some of the concerns well. I really just wanted to get that out there. I'm glad we're having these conversations. I'm glad Jen Thomas and all the other women are speaking up and asking questions, and you know, it's just gonna make things better.
I've heard women very disappointed that we're part of this, invited to this. You know, we're no longer coming back, and that's very sad because we need to grow in numbers.
Not every woman that leaves the movement just is heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking.
Not divide us up. Not sacrifice us. Like, we are not lambs.
Yeah, I mean, and to put those pictures all over the internet when you know that women have been abused. You know, if you're in this movement, you know, if you're in women's spaces, you know how abused women are. To put that out there in front of women is just,
I thought that was a mockery of women's abuse. I'm sorry.
It's really sick.
You know, showing it off. I'm like,
and then to expect women to share that around, to share those beat up women. I couldn't share that stuff.
Oh, that baby's gorgeous.
She's stealing my computer. Hold on.
Oh, she's got all the spotlight, but you gotta put the camera
yeah, the smiling victim. That was not a good look, not at all.
Yeah. I'm so glad it's nowhere else but on my Substack, which you can subscribe to.
Oh yeah, definitely get up on that Substack. And then I keep finding new things from Jen Thomas. I didn't know she had a YouTube and and like all these other social things. And so that's good. I'm glad I've found more of her. And I love all the Substacks that women are coming out with. They're really great too.
And this is not, sell anything or self-promote. This is not for me to try to take over the movement or anything. But we do need solid leadership that actually cares about women.
Yeah. And promoting yourself is perfectly fine. I think we have to. Men do it all the time, don't they? They promote each other. We need women promoting themselves and other women promoting women. Women, center women.
Center each other. I will promote the hell out of everybody. Punan's got a channel.
Got it. Yep, support it.
She's got a team, New York Raw, that will be broadcasting on my channel soon, hopefully.
Oh, great. Oh, I'm excited to see what they're doing in New York.
For Pride when I came down. So I just want to see this movement grow. And
me too.
I'm taking part in conversations with everybody who's open.
Yes, that's always been my thing is conversations. We have got to have conversations. If we want to move forward in anything, any kind of social issue, like we have got to have conversations. And that's what we're not seeing. That's a huge issue with society today.
On an equal level,
Yeah, no, conversations, not somebody talking down to you. Yeah, definitely, we all have something to offer. There's not one woman out there that doesn't have something to offer.
So we just need more women's voices out there and to come together. And that's my final plea. Thank you very much.
Amen. I agree completely. And I'm here, like I said, if you want to, hear from women who have organized, reach out. You can email me at pinwheelar@AOL. Or at pinwheelart@femaxnews.com. And like I said, we'll help you. We'll help you find other women in your area. We'll reach out. We'll be on the search. We'll send them your way. And that's how we build.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Support when we say no. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.